No matter how good your life may be, you can suddenly find yourself questioning everything about where you're at. It's natural for this to happen. The key is, how do you move out of the question and into your next move? Hi, welcome to the Connect with Sheila podcast. I'm an entrepreneur, self-care strategist, and creator of the Seasons self-care app. I'm committed to helping you reconnect to your purpose, elevate your well-being, and build your version of a happy, successful life. Today is a Q&A episode, and we're chatting about everything that comes before feeling stuck, and then what it's like when we find ourselves in that place and wanting to get out of it. It's something I think we all experience from time to time. And it's just part of that human experience where life is one way and we might be feeling really good about it. And then we get a little comfortable and we start asking ourselves the question of, am I happy? Is this really where I want to be? Is there more to life? Things can start to feel easy, or maybe things can start to feel boring even. And that can be in any amazing situation in your life even. The things that you once dreamed for are now just something you're so used to that you find yourself wanting more. And that is so much of what I love to explore in these episodes on this podcast, is really going after your life of more, and more being whatever your version is. As I've mentioned before, your version of success is yours. Your version of more is yours. More doesn't necessarily mean more flashy and extravagant, although if that's what you want, go for it. I think it really is just like going for what is next, what you are capable of achieving that you know is just lying beneath the surface. It's something that fascinates me when I see people doing really incredible things. I think, gee, what went first? What came first in that situation? How did they get to where they are? What were those building blocks that got them there? Which is why I love these interviews that you hear of people from all these different walks of life who are exploring what is next for them, and how it's never a linear path. It is always a journey with twists and turns and bobs and weaves. And those are the things that make achieving whatever your goals are that you are achieving even more worthwhile, because you've earned them through various circumstances and you've learned a lot about yourself in the process. It's so true that as you're moving through life, and you're coming up against maybe obstacles or hurdles, struggles, challenges, you start to see really what you're made of. When life is smooth sailing and it's easy and you really don't have to try, you're never forced to see what you're capable of. And I love to see how all of us are able to rise to the occasion through various circumstances. That's something that I've been really enjoying witnessing, even in my kids as they've gotten older, different things that they've experienced and come up against, and the ways they come through. And as a parent, oh my goodness, it's so easy to want to just smooth things over, make it easier so that they don't have to go through any pain or hardship. But I know that that very experience is what they need in order to grow into the young men that they are meant to be. And they surprise me every time. And you know, what has happened is I start to see them wanting to embrace whatever it is they need to do as they're moving forward in their life. And they're not wanting to just shy away from things. And so that's really inspiring to me. And I remember seeing myself also growing up. I had similar experiences. And fortunately, we had wonderful conversations about these things with my parents where we would actually talk about it. And so that's really beautiful. So having the conversation is definitely a part of it that can help prepare us. And so this is something we learn from a young age, perhaps. Maybe sometimes we don't learn it until later on in life because perhaps we have been sheltered and shielded in our younger lives. Maybe life has moved along pretty seamlessly. And then eventually we do find ourselves coming up against something that can be challenging. More often, though, what I see happening is we come up against this feeling of comfort. We just get so comfy in our lives and the routine is there and we just know what's going to happen every day for the most part. It feels safe. And sometimes for some of us, it can feel like scary stepping out of that safety into something new. And so something that I personally have been doing over the years is finding ways to challenge myself, to move into new arenas, to step into new areas that are of interest to me in order to really challenge myself. And the cool thing is you don't have to jump in the deep end. This is something I've talked about before too. Me and the deep end, we have an interesting history. You can go back and listen to some episodes to hear about it. You can actually dip a toe in and then slowly ease your way in. You can go as fast or as slow as you want. But the cool thing is, once you start making forward progress, you start to gain momentum and you start to show yourself what you are capable of. And I think the openness is the first step. Sometimes when I'm sitting down to think about what I want to be talking about on these episodes, because there's so many of them now, can you believe it? This is episode 297. I can't quite believe it myself that I'm coming up on 300 episodes. When I first started the podcast, I thought, how am I going to know what to talk about every week? And I'm telling you, I had that thought for just a moment, because I realized in my day-to-day life, I love to learn things. I love to meet new people. I love to have conversations about different things. There's always something new to talk about. So that fear did not last long. And then I also realized that because this is so much more than just about my story, it is about the stories that I'm sharing, whether I'm speaking about them or whether I'm inviting people on to share them. That is the power of a story, where one story that I share or you hear from on this podcast may resonate for you, and some may not. You may want to skip, you may want to just fast forward through or come back to later and move on to something else. Like that happens to all of us, right? Not everything is for all of us. I get that. However, then there are those things that really resonate for you. And I believe no matter if we identify with a certain person or character in a story, there's always something to learn. And so as I was thinking about how to decide what to talk about on different podcasts, something that has been really helpful for me is just sitting down to really consider the options and to look at the various situations that are happening in the lives of people around me. And then the ideas just come, the ideas of what to share, the lessons. All of these things are so valuable that we can talk about and share. And so this concept of feeling stuck, there have been times where I've felt stuck when I've been wanting to decide what I wanted to talk about on the podcast or in one of my programs. And what has always brought me back to a place of creativity and ideas is thinking about others. This has been something that has gotten me out of a rut in my life in various different areas many, many a time. Whether it has been when I have been grieving a loss for a while, and then I've realized, okay, it's time for me to start doing something. It's time for me to move through this now. I've sat with it. I've grieved. I've, come up against the things that I've needed to learn. Now, how do I move through this into a new feeling? Because after a while, grief can start to feel, well, let's face it, it doesn't take long for grief to feel heavy. Long enough in there, and sometimes you can wonder if you're ever going to come out the other side. So something that's always helped me is looking at who needs some support, who needs some encouragement, who could use a listening ear, right? Who in my life is doing something that I can show some interest in, and turning my thoughts and my actions even towards someone else has helped really move me through grief in a sense. But also it's helped me if I've been like stuck in a creative rut or not sure which next step to take in my business. I have reached out and connected with other people and asked, hey, how can I be of service? Is there any way that I can help support you? Whether it may be promoting someone's book or someone's event or just like having a read through of something for someone, being a listening ear to some of the things that they are trying to decide about. And I'm telling you, something so beautiful happens when that collaboration happens. In that conversation where I'm just fully dropped in, listening, not only do I feel the energy of this creation that they may be working on, but I also start to feel like I'm giving some value, and I feel some hope bubbling up inside of me for what could potentially come next for me. Being in community, being with other people, being in conversation, even if it's just in passing, it does something to us. We are human beings who are meant to be in connection with each other. And I know some of us need more connection than others. Some of us need more downtime and alone time than others. And it's all good. It's all your own personal design. And I know typically I need a really nice balance of both. I may come across as always loving to be around people. I really love people. I love connecting with people. I also do need some really solid downtime. And I think that's why self-care is so much my thing. It's what I'm so passionate about, is that it is all about filling yourself up so that you have a full tank to be able to serve, to be able to just live even. You know, our life is ours to enjoy, to get creative with. It's not all about service. I definitely believe it's a big part of our life, but it's going to look different for all of us. And I don't think we need to feel like martyrs either. You know, like I don't think we need to be feeling badly about goals that we have in our life. And when we really want to just go for it and spend all of our time throwing ourselves into something that is next for us, I think that there's so much beauty in that. That in and of itself, frankly, is an act of service. Really shining your life and going for what you believe in gives other people permission and inspiration, if anything else. Because I don't think we really need permission. That's just innately ours. We get to do those things, but it does give inspiration to others to be able to go after the things that they're excited about too. So if you're feeling stuck, one of the best ways I know, and what I've personally experienced to pull myself through it in a really kind and loving way, is to reach out, to either ask for help or to offer help to somebody else, whether it's just to be a presence, a listening ear, or to perhaps collaborate with somebody on something. We have so many more opportunities than ever to do that in this digital age that we are in. And also because of the digital age we are in, we have so many more opportunities to connect face-to-face and one-to-one, because there is a deep desire people have for that connection that has sometimes really slipped away in recent years. It becomes even more valuable, that one-to-one connection, whether it's a phone call or a Zoom call, or actually imagine right in person, which I'm loving seeing all of these in-person events come up around me. It's really fun. It's really fun to be planning some of those myself. And so I really hope that as you're going through some of your experiences with whatever you may be doing in your life, whether you are really in a beautiful flow right now in your business, whether your career is feeling like a little stagnant, maybe a little boring, but good, just know that it's totally normal. And just like everything, it's all a cycle. And we need those times where things are not in massive forward momentum, because those are the times that we get to go inward and really think about, how are we feeling about our life? We need to have those slower paced times to be able to truly tune into how things are going and how we're feeling about them, and to be able to think about what the next steps could be. So this is something that I just love chatting with my people about. I love being in my community talking about these things. And I'd love to see you reaching for the things that are important to you and feeling a sense of purpose as you move through to whatever is next for you. Not needing to rush it. You get to do it on your own time. You get to do what feels good. But then also challenging yourself. If you've been in this place for a while and you've had, the urge tapping you on the shoulder that, I think we need to be moving forward into something new, and this idea keeps coming at you, there's a reason it's there. And guess what? You don't need to go through that alone. You don't need to be walking through that journey just completely isolated. I really encourage you to become a part of some kind of community, or at least connect with one other person to walk through that with you. And this type of community is something that I'm really cultivating in the Seasons Collective. And it is a community that is all about making a positive impact in the world while not burning out. Like, that's so, so important, because we can make a massive impact by like going really hard after things and just working constantly around the clock. But it doesn't necessarily feel good, and that's not sustainable long term, right? So we want to be able to find a way to do it in a way that feels good, that nourishes ourselves, that nourishes others. And one of the ways we can do that is doing it as a collective. So if you want to learn more about the Seasons Collective, go to the link in the show notes and you can stay tuned there. And I'm really grateful for you listening to these episodes. I'd love to hear how this landed for you. Please drop me a message in my DMs. I'm going to be having some new ways for you to reach me as well in the app, so that you can let me know what you're thinking, what kind of episodes you would like to be hearing, what kind of guests you would like to be having on the show. I have a whole bunch of new episodes that are waiting to be released. Some will be released in the summer. Others won't be until the fall, because I'm planning like a fun summer conversation series to be happening through the summer, a little bit more relaxed of a format, in order to just have some brief snippet conversations with some friends who are doing some really cool things in the world that I know you're going to love. So stay tuned. I appreciate you so much, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your week. Big blessings.